The rain came down in sheets that felt like needles against my skin. I sat huddled under the concrete overpass, knees drawn to my chest, my soaked hoodie clinging to me like a second, freezing skin. Water streamed off the bridge above, splashing into puddles that reflected the passing headlights like broken glass. My name is Sophie Kane. I was 22 years old. And in the space of one awful month, I had gone from having a tight-knit group of friends I called my family, to this. Nothing. No one. It started with the car accident. A drunk driver slammed into me on the way home from my night shift at the diner. Broken ribs, fractured wrist, and medical bills that swallowed every penny I had. I reached out to my best friend Rachel first. "I just need a couch for a few nights," I texted. She read it. Never replied. Then the group chat, the same one we'd used for movie nights and inside jokes for years, went silent. One by one they made excuses. "Sorry, Soph. We're all struggling too. You should have gotten insurance. This is too heavy for me right now." The last message I ever got from any of them was from Rachel. "I think we all need space." Then nothing. The landlord evicted me 2 days later. I packed my life into one suitcase and walked until my feet bled. That night, under the bridge, was the first of many. The smell of wet concrete and diesel mixed with my own fear. I whispered into the dark, "How could they just leave me?" I had no idea the answer was buried inside a house I hadn't even seen yet. For 3 brutal weeks I lived like a shadow. I scavenged half-eaten burgers from dumpsters behind fast food joints, the grease turning my stomach even as hunger won. I washed in gas station sinks when no one was looking. Nights were the worst, the cold that wrapped around your bones, the footsteps that made you freeze, wondering if tonight someone would hurt you. I kept my backpack pressed against me like a shield. Every morning I dragged myself to the public library, pretending to read while I used their computers. That's where I found the ad. Abandoned Victorian fixer, upper. $1. Buyer must complete all repairs. Quiet town, 60 miles north. The photos showed a 2-story house swallowed by ivy, windows shattered, porch sagging like it had given up. Part of a city program to save blighted homes. I had $27 and a heart with nothing left to lose. I applied right there, using the library address. 2 days later, the email came. Approved. I hitchhiked north with the last of my strength, signed the papers with shaking fingers, and received one rusty key on a faded ribbon. The house smelled of damp earth and forgotten years the moment the heavy front door creaked open. Dust danced in the thin shafts of gray light. Floorboards groaned under my sneakers, like old bones complaining. But it had walls, a roof that mostly kept the rain out, and for the first time in weeks, no one could tell me to leave. That first night, I lay on the bare floor with my suitcase as a pillow, listening to the wind whistle through cracked windows. I cried until my chest hurt, but somewhere in the exhaustion, a tiny flicker of hope stirred. This broken house was mine. The next weeks blurred into sweat and survival. I patched windows with plastic I found in the shed. I scrubbed layers of grime off the walls until my arms burned and my injured wrists screamed. Every evening the house whispered, floorboards settling, pipes clanging, sometimes a soft rustling from upstairs that made the hair on my neck stand up. I told myself it was just an old building finding its voice again, but the more I cleaned, the more I felt watched. In the upstairs hallway, while prying off rotten baseboards, my crowbar caught on something metal. I pulled harder. A hidden panel in the wall slid open with a soft click. Behind it was a narrow door I had never noticed, heart pounding. I pushed it open. The room beyond took my breath away. Shelves lined every wall from floor to ceiling, packed with books, hundreds of them. First editions of classics I'd only seen in museums. Leather-bound journals filled with handwritten notes. The air smelled of old paper and secrets. I ran my fingers across the spines, reading titles that made my pulse race. Rare philosophy texts, financial ledgers from the 1800s, and stacks of personal diaries. Tucked behind the bottom shelf was a small metal box. Inside were neat bundles of cash, not millions, but enough to fix the roof, buy real windows, and breathe for the first time in months. My knees gave out. I sat among the books, flashlight trembling in my hand, tears blurring the words. That night, I started reading the journals. Page after page of wisdom from a man named Elias Grant, Life lessons on resilience, money, friendship, and forgiveness. He wrote like he knew exactly what I was going through. Then I found the letter tucked inside the final journal, addressed to the one who truly needs this. My hands shook as I unfolded it. If you're reading this, Sophie, then my plan worked. I watched you grow up from afar through my granddaughter Rachel. I saw your kindness when the others only saw what they could take. I left this house and everything in it to you, the knowledge I spent my life collecting and the savings I hid from my own blood. Rachel and her friends, they were never worthy. I told her to help you when you fell. Instead, she chose comfort. This treasure was always meant for the girl who would fight her way back. Use the knowledge. Use the money. Become who you were always meant to be. The room spun. Rachel's grandfather, the man she had called crazy old man and never visited. He had seen the real her, the one who abandoned me the moment I became inconvenient. The friends who ghosted me weren't just selfish. They had turned their backs on the very inheritance he tried to keep from them. The betrayal cut deeper than the cold under that bridge ever had. But in the middle of the pain, something warm bloomed in my chest. I wasn't unwanted. I had been chosen. I used part of the money to hire real help for the big repairs. New roof, new windows, fresh paint. The secret library became my reading room, filled with soft lamps and the smell of lemon polish. I reported the situation to the authorities not for revenge, but for truth. Rachel never reached out. None of them did. But I didn't need them anymore. Every evening now, I sit on the front porch of my beautiful house, watching the sunset paint the quiet street in gold. The same wind that once howled through broken glass now carries the scent of fresh wood and new beginnings. I still feel the ache of that rainy night under the bridge. I still remember the silence of the group chat that ended our friendship. But I also carry something stronger, the quiet power that comes from surviving betrayal and discovering you were never truly alone. If you're out there right now, feeling abandoned by the people you trusted most, remember this. Sometimes the ones who leave you in the dark are clearing the way for the light you were always meant to find. I was Sophie Kane, 22, broken and forgotten. Today I'm Sophie Kane, homeowner, reader of old wisdom, and finally, free. The house didn't just give me shelter, it gave me the treasure I needed most. The knowledge that I was always enough. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you, share it. Someone out there might be one hidden door away from their own second chance. The room spun. Rachel's grandfather, the man she had called crazy old man and never visited. He had seen the real her, the one who abandoned me the moment I became inconvenient. The friends who ghosted me weren't just selfish. They had turned their backs on the very inheritance he tried to keep from them. The betrayal cut deeper than the cold under that bridge ever had. But in the middle of the pain, something warm bloomed in my chest. I wasn't unwanted. I had been chosen.